Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, peace be with you. David will be happy to see all of you here today. But he also wants you to enjoy the time here, share good memories, laugh a lot, learn something, make friends. And Lindsay told me David hates wearing a suit. So she told me it's okay if I don't wear a suit in memory of David. So we also know David is a very lively person, and that's why we have colorful flower arrangements. David doesn't want you to come here to cry. Okay, you can cry a little. Just a little. But we're going to講下這 David 呢是一個足活潑，咱所熟悉，敢若家己的囝還是家己的兄弟，這種真親的人。咱今仔日大家來這是要來慶祝伊這麼豐富的一生。伊要來咱來這哭，咱若捌伊的人就知講，伊要咱來這來歡喜，來慶祝，來紀念伊。紀念伊的精神。阮妹妹伊就甲我講，David 真無愛穿西裝，所以叫我講今仔日慢慢穿西裝，安尼來紀念伊。咱今仔日來看真個相片、錄影帶，來聽真個故事。希望咱安尼哪看的時陣會來講，對，迄就是 David。咱要來懷念伊。因為時間的關係，閣過來節目的進行，要大部分攏來用。My name is Columbus Leo the Exe. I'm the brother-in-law of David, and when Lizzie asked me to preside or MC today, it's a heavy responsibility, but I'd like to do a proper introduction to David at this time. So we'll go with some of the slides, give a very brief summary, and we'll hear more about David later. David is an outstanding Taiwanese Canadian. He was named in the top 25 immigrants, and we thank the publisher of the Canadian Immigrant magazine for providing us with the original of David's photo so we can do a good, beautiful enlargement of David, and we thank him for permission to use the article. David was awarded the Diamond Jubilee Medal. David was the recipient of the Outstanding Asian from Taiwanese Community Award from the Canadian Multicultural Council. And we all know David is an excellent MC. In fact, he's the best MC most people have ever seen. He started most of his MC work in the Taiwanese Canadian Association, Toronto, Taiwan, Bangladesh. And when people see how good he is, they invite him to MC everywhere, all over the country. And he always brings so much joy to the audience. David's passion for his homeland Taiwan is quite evident. He's always in the rallies to press for Taiwan's democracy or to protect Taiwan's sovereignty. Here is a rally where David is holding a megaphone leading in the protest against China's military threat over Taiwan. Now, Taiwanese people are good friends of the Chinese people. What we are protesting is toward the dictators of the Chinese Communist regime for their suppression of human rights and the aggression toward Taiwan. After all, desire for human rights and social justice is universal. And that sign in the middle saying, recognize Taiwan, is in the heart of many Taiwanese. David is very talented, competitive, and unconventional. He volunteers everywhere. He enters in many contests. He won the right to carry the Olympic torch in relay in Canada 2 times, 2004 and 2010. He also won eating contest. Yeah, that's right, lots of eating contests. We'll hear more about that later. For people who know him, Krispy Kreme. David is the Krispy Kreme king, and in fact, Lindsay did go to Krispy Kreme donut shop today to grab a few dozens of Krispy Kreme donuts so everybody can remember him when we go downstairs for the refreshments later on. And David and Lindsay even won a kissing contest. David and his family have always been participating in Taiwanese community activities since the kids were small. Here they are volunteering in a booth to showcase Taiwanese culture, the gift of Taiwanese culture. We're going to hear many different aspects of David's very enriched and active life today. But now let's start by everybody singing together a lively hymn, Sia Hamba, the South African song, actually South African freedom song, and it's in the bulletin. There are two verses, one in Zulu and one in English, so it's a set of two verses. The choir, please come to the front. The choir is going to sing, lead us to sing both verses one time. Everybody please listen and try to sing together. You're going to learn, because after the choir sings the first two times, everybody is going to stand up with drums, lively music, in David's lively spirit, to sing two more sets. So that's 6 verses in total. Choir leads the first 2 sets. Everybody stand up, clapping, lively, in celebration of David's wonderful life. Sia Hamba.
Friends here today, and I'm really happy to see you, but in a way, I really don't like to see you here under this kind of circumstances. David was born in Chiayi, as you know. His Taiwanese name, Jiawei, means the great from Chiayi. And indeed, he was a great one, if not the greatest in our community. I knew David since 1997. when he was the MC for the TCA annual convention in Trenton University in Peterborough. At the closing ceremony of TCA convention, David staged a stunning act by calling Lindsay, a beautiful lady, to the stage, and he sang a song and then proposed to Lindsay on his knees, as you see right there. It was the very highlight of the convention, and not very conventional by any means. And no one would ever forget that moment, especially Lindsay, of course. And by the way, nobody can remember what we have been discussed in the conference after this. David had hosted countless TCA and other world Taiwanese organizations like WFTA, WTC over the years. As an MC, as Leo just described, he was energetic, witty, quick, humorous, extremely entertaining, creative, and non-conventional, as you've seen. And wherever he went, the place would be instantly energized and full of laughter. David was a respectable national leader of TCA. You only get what you gave, David believed. That one would only harvest what he planted. He gave respect, so he got respect. He respected the God, of course. He respected people. He respected the nature. He respected the environment. As a matter of fact, you've probably seen his entire family picking up garbage along the beach on Lake Ontario. That is why he was one of the most respected leaders in our community. And that is why he was an avid volunteer, respected by over 75 worthy organizations. And that is why he led Taiwanese community across the nation to rally against Chinese communist regime for not respecting the rights of Taiwanese and Tibetans for self-determination. And that is why he rallied in front of our external affair with our Ottawa colleague there, demanding our government to help release of Columbus Leo when he was illegally arrested by the Taiwan KMT government. And Leo was to attend Professor Albert's mother's funeral because Albert was tragically barred by KMT from attending his mother's funeral. David was a true, courageous Canadian who strongly defended Canadian values, the human rights and human dignity. David was very proud of his Taiwanese roots and determined to pass it on. He came here at the age of 3, but after 40 years, he still spoke fluent Taiwanese. And he designed and ran the youth and kids programs in all TCA's Taiwan camp. He ran the kids program in Formosa Cup softball tournament. He taught Taiwanese history, heritage, Taiwanese values to the youngsters in a very creative and entertaining manner. And my kids, they were all beneficiaries of his devotion. And we gather here today not only to celebrate David's amazing life, but also to honor and express our sincere appreciations for his contributions to our communities. And on behalf of TCA and Taiwanese communities across the nation, I also would like to express our heartfelt condolences to the Lin's family. Dio asked us not to cry, but nobody can help it. We all feel the pain of losing such a wonderful member and a respected leader of our community. Excuse me. TCA will never be the same again without David. His legacy will live with us forever. And before closing, I would like to ask TCA Toronto to nominate David Dean to the TCA Board of Directors for consideration of David as the most outstanding Taiwanese Canadian in 2013. And the honor is awarded once every 2 years during TCA convention in the summer. In closing, I would like to read a short message from the president of TCA, Edward Chong, who is in Taiwan and regrets his absence. I'll read it in Taiwanese. David, 你的一生充满了欢喜快乐，也同时呢，带予阮规整个坎仔的同乡欢喜甲快乐。每当你出现在地上啊，整个会场就热烈起来。David， 你不但协助提升台湾同乡会进入主流社会，你在咱这多元文化社会中会杰出表现啊！艺术咱每个台湾变成一个真高光的品牌。David， 你在佛摩山卡 sophomore tournament 无私心的奉献来主持 kids program， 互咱的同乡的囝儿啊，也会当体会这个 softball 的这个快乐的趣味。阮感谢你 ，David。你虽然离开阮，但是你的英容会永远陪伴着阮。你所带予阮的欢喜甲快乐，会永远住在阮心内。We love you, and you will be very much missed. Edward Chong, President 2011-2013 of Taiwanese Canadian Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahok. David wants to be equal with everybody, so don't have to bow to him when he comes to the front. He wants to be remembered as brother and sister to everybody. And we now have the greeting brought by Member of Parliament Lois Brown from the riding of Newmarket, Aurora. And she is also going to bring a greeting by Jason Kenney, Minister of Immigration, Citizenship, and Multiculturalism.
Thank you very much, Columbus. Good afternoon, my friends. I regret that we are meeting today under these circumstances. I believe that in heaven there is a wonderful tapestry that is woven from the threads of lives lived. And as they cross, they are making a most magnificent picture. I am very thankful that the thread of my life has crossed the thread of David's life, because in many ways, that's why we have become friends. I am honored today to bring you greetings from the Honorable Jason Kenney, and I'd like to read you what he said. As the Minister of Citizenship, Immigration, and Multiculturalism in Canada, I have the unique opportunity to meet exceptional individuals whose outlook and talents inspire those around them to contribute to their community and embrace their responsibilities as Canadian citizens. David Lynn was one of these people. He exemplified what a Canadian should be: gracious, giving, honest, and hardworking. David was an ideal example of what we hope all immigrants to Canada will aspire to be. His legacy is one of warmth and dedication to his fellow citizens, and particularly to the Taiwanese community in Toronto and around our great country. I had the opportunity to honor David in 2010 as a recipient of the Top 25 Canadian Immigrant Awards. The certificate with which I presented him stated, "You give all Canadians the opportunity to share and appreciate the many cultures and traditions which build a strong Canada." David's passion for our country could be easily seen in his actions, and the statement on that certificate remained true right up to his passing. We all share in the grief faced by David's wife and children, but they can be proud of his many contributions to Canada and of his noble personal values. Please know that my prayers will be with Lindsay, David Jr., Michael, and Samantha in the coming days and weeks as they mourn the loss of their loving husband and father, and that is signed sincerely, the Honorable Jason Kenney, Minister of Citizenship, Immigration, and Multiculturalism. Lindsay, children, your threads are bound up with David's threads. I believe that David's thread is gold, and that when you see this tapestry and the amazing number of lives that he has touched, that gold thread is going to be very easy to follow through the tapestry. God bless each one of you.
We now will see the first set of slideshow to be narrated by Philip Wu, the president of the Taiwanese Canadian Association of Toronto, to remember David in the Taiwanese community activities.
In the next few sets of slides, you will see a very, very slight taste of David's involvement in the Taiwanese community. He has done a lot more than everybody thinks. David Lin's parents were typical, quiet, hardworking immigrants. They did not get involved in the Taiwanese community in the earlier years. However, when David found out about the many Taiwanese events, he became very passionate and wanted to know more and participate more. He took buses for long hours to go to the US to attend many intercollegiate Taiwanese American Student Association, ITASA. Here, David was with leaders of an ITASA conference in US. One time, during a snowstorm, David took bus from Toronto to Illinois, and that took 24 hours. David and his family participated actively in many Taiwanese community events, especially the Taiwanese Canadian Association of Toronto. Here we have kids from the Lin family, Lindsay's brother Leo's family, and good friend Yan family. Good to see children are so happy here. David has been the MC in TCAT for so many years. He always seemed to have candies to give out to the kids. It's even sweeter when his kids are involved. You see Junior, Michael in the front, and Samantha in the back. Here's David at the Taiwanese Canadian Community Service Association Gala, one of the many events that he goes to. Here's another event, David at the University of Toronto, the Taiwanese Student Association's event. David and Lindsay with their 4 kids. 4 kids at TCAT for David. No, that lady in the green is actually David's mom, performing as part of the North American Taiwanese Women's Association dance. David's mother was a teacher and a good dancer, and I heard she's a very good cook. David MC an event at the U of T. Before I met David, about 4 years ago, I thought he's a professional MC because every event I go to, I see David there and he does so well. So I thought he does that for a living. But in fact, that's his passion, and he never refused when you ask him to MC. He never refuses anybody. One of the most memorable lines, and I'm going to say this in Taiwanese, 我想有印象的就是伊常常吼，咧开始 MC 的时候就讲，我是家己生，不是家己生。我是嘉义生的哦，而不是自己生的。Very very 和我印象足深的。This is the 228 event. It's an important part of the Taiwanese history, where the nationalist KMT regime massacred a whole generation of Taiwanese elite in 1947. It was a forbidden subject to discuss in Taiwan during a period of white terror. Only in recent years, with Taiwanese pushing for democratization, people talked about it, and the government apologized. David knew the importance of the annual remembrance of this tragic event and brought his family to attend. This was at a remembrance held by the ATOT at the Teiko Cultural Center. ATOT is the association of the 16 Taiwanese organizations in Toronto. Columbus and David often stand side by side, take turns on the megaphone to lead Taiwanese in rallies. Here, they are in front of the Chinese consulate, protesting China's threat toward Taiwan, and to support Taiwan's entry to UN. Note the lady is Julia Cheng, and her son on the right is Austin, will be playing the piano later today. The Taiwanese community used to protest to Teiko to demand human rights and social justice. With the democratization, the relationship between Taiwanese community and Teiko improved over the years. Now we hold an annual TCAT versus Teiko friendship softball game. David always loved to be a part of that game. David's family always participate in the annual Formosan Cups softball tournament held by TCAT. You'll notice wherever David goes, in the family, they always wear the same t-shirt as if they have the uniforms made for them. David also organized the children's games as part of the event. Here, David's family enjoy holding the trophies before they are given to the winners. Here you see the kids are bigger and the boys are overtaking Lindsay in height. They enjoy being with the trophies before they are given out. The last time David emceed at any public event was at the TCAT. TCAT is like home to him, the Taiwanese Canadian Association of Toronto. This was on February 2nd, 2013. It was the Lunar New Year celebration and our annual general meeting. And that day, I took over as the new president, and David gave me his full support. This is David's family on stage. After the event, David was getting sick already. He still came to the board meeting a few days later because he's so committed and so passionate to the Taiwanese community. That was the last time the board saw David because he went to the hospital a few days later. David, thank you. You will be missed. David, Lindsay, Junior, Michael, and Samantha, thank you for everything your family has done for the Taiwanese and the Canadian community. You have built a very strong family name. You have built a very strong name for the Taiwanese Canadian. Your family is a very special one and is a role model for the community. If you ever need a hand, don't hesitate to ask. You have lent your hands to so many others. Most importantly, take good care of yourself before you can take care of others.
We'll now have the greeting to be brought on by Member of Parliament, Ted Lopez from Etobicoke Center.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to give greetings on behalf of the Government of Canada on a day like today. David was a very good friend, of course, to his community and to the Government of Canada, and has made tremendous amounts of progress for your community and for building bridges between Canada and Taiwan that are lasting bridges, very important bridges, and ones that will endure over time. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this day with you and to share the memories of David and all the great things that he did for his community and between Canada and Taiwan. Thank you.